and editing labels. This tutorial demonstrates how to add labels to Autodesk Civil 3D objects, and then edit the labels to suit your requirements. Exercise 1, Adding labels in groups. In this exercise, you will use label sets to apply several types of labels to an alignment. Open Labels 2a.dwg. Click Home tab, Create Design Panel Alignment drop-down, Create Alignment from Objects. On the command line, enter X to select the XREF option. Click the blue polyline on the west side of the site. Polyline in the externally referenced drawing. Press Enter twice. In the Create Alignment, from Polyline dialog box, for name, enter West Street. For alignment style, ensure that Proposed is selected. Examine the contents of the alignment label set list. When you create an object, its Create dialog box typically has style selector lists for both the object and the labels. The style selector lists identify the object's styles and label styles that are available in the current drawing for that object type. When you create an alignment, profile, or section, you select a label set, which applies a preset style to each of the various labels types that are in the set. You will examine an example of a label set in the following steps. Notice that there is a no label selection. This selection is an empty label set that does not display any labels along the alignment. Tip: if you do not want to annotate objects that do not use label sets, you can create a label style that has the visibility of all of its components turned off. From the alignment label set list, select Major, Minor, and Geometry points. Click the arrow next to. Select Copy Current Selection. The Alignment Label Set dialog box displays information about how the Major, Minor, and Geometry points label set is configured. You will use this label set as a basis to create a new label set. The Information tab displays the label set name, description, and the date when it was created or modified. The Labels tab specifies the label types that are defined in the label set, as well as the label styles that are used by each type. In this example, you use the label set to apply label styles to the geometry points and major and minor stations of an alignment. Note: label sets for profiles and sections are constructed in the same manner, using a similar dialog box. In the Alignment Label Set dialog box, on the Information tab, for name, enter Major, Minor stations and start endpoints. On the Labels tab, in the Geometry Points row, in the Style column, click. In the Pick Label Style dialog box, select Alignment Start. Click OK. In the Alignment Label Set dialog box, in the Geometry Points row, in the Geometry Points to Label column, click. In the Geometry Points dialog box, click to clear all checkboxes. Select the Alignment Beginning checkbox. Click OK. You can use geometry point label types to label a selection of geometry points using a combination of styles that you specify. In steps 8 and 9, you applied a geometry point label style to the alignment starting station. In the following steps, you will create another instance of the geometry points label type that applies a different style to the alignment ending station. Tip: to remove a label type from the label set, select the type and click. In the Alignment Label Set dialog box, on the Labels tab, specify the following parameters. Type: Geometry Points. Geometry Point Label Style: Alignment End. Click Add. In the Geometry Points dialog box, click to clear all checkboxes. Select the Alignment End checkbox. Click OK. In the Alignment Label Set dialog box, click OK. In the Create Alignment, from Polyline dialog box, under Conversion Options, clear the Add Curves Between Tangents checkbox. Click OK. Zoom into the area surrounding the new alignment and examine the labels that were automatically placed along the alignment. Note: if the EP0 plus 243.63 label is adjacent to the intersecting alignment, click Alignment tab, Modify panel, Reverse Direction. Click the alignment. Click OK to acknowledge the warning about alignment properties that are affected by the command. Modify the label set of an existing alignment. Note: changes that you make to the alignment label set after the alignment has been created will not be applied to the original label set. To edit the original label set, in Tool Space, on the Settings tab, expand Alignment Label Styles Label Sets. Right-click the appropriate label set. Click Edit. In the drawing, select the West Street alignment. Right-click. Click Edit Alignment Labels. In the Alignment Labels dialog box, specify the following parameters. Type: Geometry Points. Geometry Points Label Style: perpendicular with tick and line. Click Add. In the Geometry Points dialog box, click to clear all check boxes. Select the following check boxes: Tangent, Tangent Intersect, Tangent Curve Intersect, Curve Tangent Intersect. Click OK to close the Geometry Points and Alignment Label Set dialog boxes. Press ESC to deselect the alignment. Alignment with modified label set. Note: in the previous image, the EP0 plus 243.63 and PC0 plus 158.39 labels are shown on opposite sides of the alignment for clarity. You will learn to flip labels to the opposite side of an alignment in a later exercise. Add labels to an alignment in a referenced drawing. Click Annotate tab, Labels and Tables panel, Add Labels menu, Alignment, Add/Edit Station Labels. Click the Main Street alignment, which is the long alignment in the middle of the site. Because this alignment exists in an externally referenced drawing, the table in the Alignment Labels dialog box is empty. Only labels that are created in the current drawing can be modified in the current drawing. Labels that were created in an externally referenced drawing must be modified in the source drawing. In the Alignment Labels dialog box, specify the following parameters. Type: Geometry Points. Geometry Point Label Style: perpendicular with tick and line. Click Add. Note: the Import Label Set button applies a label set that exists in the current drawing. In the Geometry Points dialog box, click OK. In the Alignment Labels dialog box, specify the following parameters. Type: Design Speeds. Design Speed Label Style: Station over Speed. Click Add. Click OK. On the Main Street alignment, labels are displayed at each station at which a new design speed is applied, and at each geometry point. These label objects reside in the current drawing and annotate the alignment in the externally referenced drawing. In an externally referenced drawing. Exercise 2, Manually Labeling an Object. In this exercise, you will add labels to specific areas on an alignment after it has been created and automatically labeled. Label multiple alignment segments. Note: this exercise uses labels 2a.dwg with the modifications you made in the previous exercise. Click Annotate tab, Labels and Tables panel, Add Labels menu, Alignment, Add Alignment Labels. In the Add Labels dialog box, specify the following parameters. Feature: alignment. Label type: multiple segment. In the 3 label style fields, accept the default styles. You can choose specific styles for each of the line, curve, and spiral label styles. This alignment does not contain any spirals, so the spiral label style setting is ignored. Click Add. On the left-hand side of the site, click the West Street alignment, which you created in Exercise 1, adding labels in groups. The multiple segment label command places a label at the middle of each line and curve. This method can be convenient, but sometimes a few of the labels overlap other features of the drawing. In Exercise 3, selecting and moving labels, you will move some of these labels. Label single alignment segments. In the Add Labels dialog box, specify the following parameters. Feature, alignment. Label type, single segment. Line label style alignment name. Note. Notice that you can use either a general line label style or alignment line label style. General line and curve label styles can be applied to lines and curves that are part of an alignment or parcel object. Click Add. You are now ready to choose a specific location for a label on the alignment. Unlike multiple segment labels, single segment labels are placed exactly where you click. On the West Street alignment, click near Station 0+120 to place a line segment label. Be sure to click the line segment, and not the station label. Because you clicked a line segment, the label style specified in the line label style list in the Add Labels dialog box was used. If you had clicked a curve, the label style specified in the curve label style list would have been used. On the Main Street alignment, which is the long alignment in the middle of the site, click a location between stations 0+140 and 0+160. On the East Street alignment, which is the alignment with the cul-de-sac on the right-hand side of the site, click a location between stations 0+200 and 0+220. In the Add Labels dialog box, in the Line Label Style list, select Line Label Style Bearing over Distance. Click Add. On the Main Street alignment, click a location between stations 0+100 and 0+120. A new label displaying bearing and distance information is created. Examine label settings for other objects. In the Add Labels dialog box, in the feature list, select Parcel. This selection changes the label type and style selections that are available. The Add Labels dialog box works in the same manner for all of the feature types shown in the feature list. When you annotate objects in Autodesk Civil 3D, you can switch the type of object you are labeling, as well as the label type and style of the various elements, as needed. Pay attention to the command line as you annotate objects. Some label types, such as span, slope, grade, and depth, annotate a range of data between 2 points. For example, if you want to label a grade or depth between 2 points, you must specify those points in the drawing. In the Add Labels dialog box, click Close. Alignment with manually inserted segment labels. Exercise 3, Selecting and Moving Labels. In this exercise, you will select labels and change their location in the drawing. Note: this exercise uses labels 2a.dwg with the modifications you made in the previous exercise, or you can open labels 2b.dwg from the Tutorials Drawings folder. Make sure that you are zoomed into the area around the West Street label on the alignment on the left-hand side of the site. Select the alignment. Notice that the alignment is highlighted, and grips appear along the alignment. The alignment labels, however, are not highlighted. In previous versions of Autodesk Civil 3D, labels were sub-entities of their parent object. Now, most Autodesk Civil 3D labels are independent objects that reside on their own layer. Although they are independent objects, labels are dynamically linked to their parent object and automatically update to reflect changes in the parent object. Press ESC to deselect the alignment. On the road alignment, click one of the station labels. Notice that all other station labels along the alignment are now highlighted. Press ESC to deselect the station labels. Click one of the curve labels. Notice that while that curve label is selected, the other curve labels are not. There are two distinct label object types. Label type groups: when you select a label that is part of a label type group, such as an alignment station label, the entire group is selected. If you select a label type group and use the right-click menu to update the label properties, the properties of every label in the group update. To select a single label within a label type group, use Ctrl+click. Single label objects: when you select a single label object, such as an alignment curve label, only that label object is selected. You can change the properties, including the label style, of single label objects without affecting the other labels of the parent object. Press ESC to deselect the curve label. Move labels in the drawing. Click the label showing bearing over distance near station 0 plus 100. Grips appear on the label. Click the label location grip. The grip turns red. Drag the label down and to the left to move it to a clear location. Click to place the label. Press ESC to deselect the label. Label dragged with the label location grip. A leader line is created from the label to the alignment. Click the West Street label. Grips appear on the label. Click the label anchor grip. The grip turns red. Drag the label to the right. Click near station 0 plus 100 to place the label closer to the center of the line segment. Press ESC to deselect the label. Label moved with label anchor grip. Pan and zoom to the cul-de-sac of the West Street alignment. Anchor grip. Pan and zoom to the cul-de-sac of the West Street alignment. Use the grips to drag each curve label away from the alignment. Click the EP 0 plus 243.63 label. A grip appears on the label. Click the grip. The grip turns red. Drag the label up and to the right to move it to a clear location. A leader line is created from the label to the alignment. Notice that the label displays without a border. The border is hidden because the dragged state of the label style specified a different format for when the label is dragged to a new location. You will learn about label style settings in the Working with Label Styles tutorials. Alignment endpoint label displayed in dragged state. Note: you can reset a selected label by clicking the circle grip. Press ESC to deselect the EP 0 plus 243.63 label. Ctrl+click station label 0 plus 000. Press delete. Repeat these operations, moving and dragging labels to other locations where required. If you want to undo any flipping or dragging operations, select the labels in question. Right-click and click Reset Label. Alignment with labels move to improve readability. Select labels in an XREF. Click one of the station labels on the Main Street alignment. Notice that both the Main Street and East Street alignments and their station labels are selected. The labels were selected because the labels were created in the externally referenced drawing in which the alignments reside. When an object has been created through an XREF, you can edit its labels only in the source drawing. Press ESC to deselect the XREF. Exercise 4, Working with Label Properties. In this exercise, you will use standard AutoCAD tools to control properties for both individual labels and group labels. Examine label properties. Note: this exercise uses labels 2b.dwg with the modifications you made in the previous exercise. On the command line, enter list. On the West Street alignment, click a station label and a bearing over distance label. Press enter. The AutoCAD text window appears, displaying the object type, label type, and layer of the selected label objects. For example, In AECC alignment station label group. Alignment is the object type. Station label indicates that it is a station label object. Group indicates that the label object is part of a label group. AECC alignment tangent label is not followed by group because it is an individual object label. Close the Auto CAD text window. Next, you will change the label style of an individual label object. Change the style of a single label. Click the curve label near station 0 plus 040. Right-click. Click Properties. In the Properties palette, change the curve label style to Curve Label Style Design Data. Press ESC to deselect the label. Change the style of a group of labels. Click Station Label 0 plus 040. All station labels are highlighted, indicating that they are part of a label group. Right-click. Click Properties. Note: selecting Edit Alignment Labels from the context menu opens the Alignment Labels dialog box, where you can change the alignment label set. In the Properties palette, under Labeling, change the major station label style to perpendicular with tick. Press ESC. Flip a label to the opposite side of the alignment. Ctrl plus click Geometry Point Label PC, 0 plus 018.54. In the Properties palette, examine the properties that are available. Under General, change the flipped property to True. Close the Properties palette. Press ESC to deselect the labels. Alignment labels with modified properties.